Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fin Factor. I'm Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
This is episode number 155. Aaron, we have kicked off the start of the regular season, not in the normal way, not in San Jose, out in Czech Republic, which, by the way, it is not spelled the way that we had it there, CZHECH. I'm not going to say whose fault that was, but it wasn't me. But you know, they went, they had a great time. Hockey aside, they had some stories about that. I'll let you guys go ahead and take a look at those different things. We're not going to talk about that, but the players had a lot of fun out there. Just a really cool experience being able to visit a different country, and especially under the, I guess you could say, the tour guide ship of Tomas Hertl, kind of showing everybody around. Of course, he grew up out in the Czech Republic, so really cool for him to be able to make it back to that area for a game that actually counts, a game that means something.
Yeah, and I think they all had a great time. Sorry, I was trying to slowly move my camera over. They had a great time and had a wonderful host in the Czech Republic. They were also in Berlin before that to play the Eisbaren. So I think Nico Sturm was the host there because he's also from Germany. So it was a fun time with 27 of the guys from the roster able to go and do a lot of team building. So the Sharks kind of training camp was smaller than normal, but they had some really good bonding time, I feel, as a team doing this trip. So we'll see if that is better than having a longer training camp or not, or if it even matters.
Yeah. So it was kind of cool because they had, again, they played Eisbaren, which I guess translated means literally polar bear, right?
Yeah.
The ice in the E part of that ice literally means ice. The DEL is I guess, I don't know if I'm saying this right, Deutsch Hockey League, right? Deutsch Ice Hockey, DE Ice. Anyway, pretty cool that they got to play against that team. That was the team that had won, I think, 2 years straight, and they are going for a three-peat this season as well. So it's not like they're just kind of like a throwaway team. I know in the previous episode I had said, we better beat this team because it's an NHL team against, a team playing out of the DEL. But it was the top talented team in that league, and actually they were missing, I think, 5 of their better players anyway. So really, if they had not won this game, it would have been pretty embarrassing for the Sharks. So glad to see they walked away from that exhibition with a 3-1 win. And I think you've got a clip here. I don't know if you want to just go ahead and jump straight into it, or if there's something else you want to talk about. But with Hertl talking about Cunnin playing on his line, and if you want to set that up.
Sure. Cunnin was kind of a guy, I guess he's kind of a placeholder, one of those guys that the Sharks absolutely love having that can play up and down the lineup. They could be on the first line, second line, third line, power play, kill penalties, you name it. And this is one of the guys that he was what the Sharks traded for him for. They traded John Leonard plus a third round to get him from Nashville. So he's playing against his old team, or he was going to, not against the Eisbaren, but against when they played Nashville. But he was playing on Hertl's line, and Hertl was asked about Cunnin and why he liked playing with him. So we love clips of Hertl. So here's the one sentence answer from Tomas Hertl.
I really like him. He's fast, he's aggressive, he works hard in every shift. He got a lot of pucks for us, and it's, I kind of told him, me and Timo try hold the puck, make it play, and he opened up, but he getting a lot of pucks, but he got a really strong preseason. Honestly, I didn't know what to really expect for him, but it's a lot of fun play with him, and so hopefully we have good connection, on Friday and score some goals too, but I really like to play, last couple of games with him.
Hey man, I mean, to be fair, that didn't seem like it was one sentence.
Maybe
he broke it up a bit.
Maybe 2. He's getting better. Anyway, this is kind of foreshadowing because this is before the Nashville games, and I thought he looked pretty good. That's another right-handed shot in the lineup that the Sharks never really had last year or even 2 years ago, especially last year once LeBanc was out. So good to see his line mate basically giving him some good praise, and Hertl being one of the leaders on the team. Now it's Hertl and Meyer and Kunin that were playing, or Cunnin. I keep saying Kunin. Cunnin were on the team or on the line. Cunnin is the guy that's going to go into those corners and get those pucks and retrieve them and give them back to Hertl. And Meyer. So kind of a complementary player to their style, I guess. Really fast and aggressive. And to me, he looked very fast and aggressive. I really liked his game and overall game, not just on the offense either.
Absolutely the type of player that GM Mike Greer was hoping to get, to bolster this team back up and get them back to being at least an entertaining product on the ice. And it's funny that you say, he's the guy that's going to go and get the pucks, and that is his style of play, where he'll go and he'll bang and he'll retrieve. But it's funny listening to what Tomas Hertl said. He said, Timo and I will try to hold on to the puck, and you just kind of free yourself up. So it seems like pretty much everybody on that line is going to be trying to do some puck protecting here. Maybe when Hertl and Meyer have it, they're going to be looking for him to get open. But it seems like even if they don't have the puck, he's going to be the guy that goes, crashes and bangs and gets them the puck so that they can control it. So I think there's some pretty decent chemistry that could happen on that line, given the play styles of the three players that are there. The interesting question is going to be, what happens when Barabanov is healthy? So that's one thing I wanted to touch on here. Not so much give my thoughts, but I'd love to hear what the folks in the chat have to say about that. So if you can go ahead, throw your comments in there. What do you think happens here when Barabanov gets back? Does he immediately get his job back? Do you think he has to earn it just like everybody else? They're obviously, it's a new coaching staff and everything, so they don't really look at what was happening last season necessarily, right? You got to see what's going on in camps and everything else in the practices and see who's jiving and who's not. Is he going to just step right back in and just everything's going to flow again? Or has maybe Cunnin found himself on this line all of a sudden? Who knows? So I guess, Aaron, while they're kind of typing that in there, why don't you give me kind of your take on that? Do you think Barabanov is going to just slot right back in when he's healthy?
That's a good question. I think the way that Greer's kind of set this team up is healthy competition. So once he is back, he's going to have to fight for his spot back. He's not going to just be given to, especially with the new coaching staff that doesn't even really, not that they don't know him because he was around in the beginning parts, but I think he's going to have to fight for that rollback, and Cunnin's making his case to stay on that line for now, at least in the short term. I mean, looking ahead, we're going to talk about it, but he had a goal and assist in 2 games. He's now the leading scorer on the Sharks. So kind of hard to take that away, but I liked last year. I liked that line of Barabanov, Hertl, and Meyer. I thought they played well together because they complemented each other. But it is a much different look having Barabanov on that line versus having Cunnin on that line. Barabanov is more of a perimeter player, very good at protecting the puck and making plays, but definitely not the kind of guy that Cunnin is, who's going to go straight to the net and get the dirty goals and get into those dirty areas, as they like to call it.
Yeah, fair enough. I like what Kellen Foster is thinking here. I think that Cunnin is a better fit with Couture on the bank. And you know what? I feel like you might have something there because, Hertl, big body, Meyer, big body, Cunnin, one of those guys that's going to go hard into the boards, retrieve the puck. For a pair like Couture and LeBanc, maybe that's one of the things that could help them out, is having a guy like Cunnin playing on their line, crash, bang, get them the puck, right? Let those two guys control the puck as best they can and, get some shots on and let him crash, as you said, picking up those dirty goals. Maybe he is a better fit for that line. I don't know. But, when Barabanov comes back, maybe that's where Cunnin finds himself. Just bump down, just down to the second line there with a very able Logan Couture and a hopefully resurging Kevin LeBanc. But we will see on that front. So I don't know about that one. But, he could be a fit there too. So definitely a guy that, he can play multiple different lines and probably be able to help anybody on his line be successful. So again, a nice pickup by GM Mike Greer.
I like what Drew said about Lorentz. Lorentz's effort level is insane, but doesn't have the offensive upside to stay on the top line. I heartily agree with that. He's trying. It's not for lack of effort. He just won't be able to stay there. So yeah, I agree with that. I could see that switch having Cunnin on that line. Yeah, and I know what's his name? Sheng. I think Sheng had an article that he wrote talking about Lorentz and his size and his speed and how much that's really contributing to the Sharks so far this season and the first couple games that they played. We'll have to see. We'll see where it goes. But any
anytime you get a guy who's giving you that level of effort, that's an A in my book, and I always go back to Mario Ferraro and the amount of effort that he puts out night in and night out. I mean, this guy, he's in the same vein here that people are talking about Lorentz. You just never see him coasting around. You always see him charging hard at the puck, charging hard at players, ready to bump and grind. Just always fighting for the puck. And it's that effort level that is just off the charts. And I think, again, that's the type of player that Mike Grier is going for, that hard-nosed blue-collar type of player. And if Lorentz is that guy, Cunnin is that guy, and you've already got a guy in Mario Ferraro like that, it's certainly good building blocks, at least for this season, and then hopefully for seasons to come when we add a little bit more talent through the draft. That kind of rubs off on those younger guys, and hopefully we'll have a pretty decent team in a couple of years here. So we'll see. Aaron, anything else you wanted to say about this situation here?
The game against Eisbaren, or
I mean, or any of these topics so far, we'd move on to Nashville.
Just real quick about Eisbaren, they scored that first goal, and I was just like, oh man, this is bad. But you could kind of tell the Sharks. I felt like in the first period they didn't have their legs under them. They looked a little sluggish, kind of feeling them out, kind of tired maybe. Maybe their bodies just weren't awake because they had just gotten into Europe not too long before that. But that second and third period, they really turned it on. And when they scored those two quick goals, I was like, okay, I think the Sharks are awake now. And they kind of realized, like, we can't let these guys, especially with Eisbaren missing 4 or 5 of their top guys and getting scored on first. So I thought the Sharks looked like a much better team. And I felt more confident going into the Nashville game, because essentially they faced kind of adversity here. Like, oh, we went down a goal to a team that's not even in the NHL. This is not good. So I thought that made them, it was a good kind of warm-up game. I think they were also, mind you, they were playing on international ice. So it was it's not NHL ice. And for those that don't know what that means, international ice is wider. So there's more space in the neutral zone. NHL ice is a lot smaller. And I believe the area behind the net is a little bit bigger. So they have more space. So the international ice is kind of, you see less open hits, you see more speed, more movement, less clogging up in the neutral zone. So it's a different kind of game, really. Most of the times in the Olympics, they play on international ice, with the exception of, I think when it was in Canada, they played on NHL ice. So it is kind of a different game. It's almost like, if you're a football fan, the NFL and the CFL's field is a little bit bigger, the Canadian Football League. It's kind of the same thing. Like, it's more open. It's just different. It's meters? The same game, but it just feels different.
They use meters instead of yards?
No, they don't. But the other thing is the game's kind of faster, I feel like, in international ice. I don't know. Things just move along better and smoother. So anyway, that was kind of their warm up, and I think Hurdle even mentioned it in his post game that the guys are kind of getting used to that international ice, because some of them have just never even played on it before. They've only played on NHL size ice, so it is a lot different. And also, when you're watching on TV, to me, I feel like the players look a little smaller on international ice versus when they're on NHL ice, because the camera's a little bit closer. It's zoomed out a little bit more, so it just looks different too. They look smaller and slower.
Taylor is saying, so what you're saying, us Americans like things smaller?
Sure.
Okay. Moving right along. We had 2 games against Nashville back-to-back. Yes, the more you know, of course. 2 games against Nashville back-to-back. First game, Aaron, I don't know. I didn't like the way the Sharks looked in this game. It was nice for Hurdle. Now, Hurdle gets his first goal of the season, the first and only goal for the Sharks for this game. I don't know. I don't know if it was, again, legs, as you're saying, against Eisbaren, or whatever the case was, but they just did not look like they were quite all there. To me, like their legs weren't under them. I think maybe the effort, especially afterwards, the effort seemed like it was just kind of like they fell off, right? So I don't know. And obviously, it's first game of the season. We're not going to judge the whole season based off of one game. But gosh, I was really hoping for a better showing in their first outing here. But that goal that Hurdle got, if you saw the celebration that he had, you would have thought that he won the Stanley Cup. My goodness, this guy. I mean, I've seen him celebrate big, and he was super happy before. But this was like he was just going bonkers because, again, this is where he grew up. This is where he played, right? Literally, I think he had played in that arena. So, such an amazing moment for him, for the people, out there in the Czech Republic to be able to watch this game, see him, kind of the hometown hero go out there and score. Everyone was going berserk for him. Before the game, they had Jaromir Jagr out there with him, of course, another Czech Republic native, and he was talking with them and everything else. So it's just a cool kind of thing that was, like that hometown pride kind of thing. Although obviously Hurdle's, plays for the Sharks. When they were the away team, and I think it was Sheng had said, but I feel like because it's Hurdle and because they've got Šimek as well, the distinct advantage is going to go to the Sharks for the hometown advantage. The crowd's going to be with the Sharks, and certainly I think that they were. But I don't know. What did you think about this game? What did you think about the next game if you want to? But what did you think about this game in particular? It just, they didn't look great.
No, and I think it was. We'll just talk about adversity again. They got scored on early, real quick. First minute or second minute of the game, they scored 1:01 into the game. That just kind of like, oh wow, here we go. Like, now we have to play from behind already. Like, there's a lot of hockey left, but giving up a quick goal in the beginning of the first period and then followed up with another quick goal given up in the beginning of the second period, I think that kind of threw them off, and they weren't quite able to recover, especially after the third goal. But Hurdle's goal was, it was nuts. The place was going crazy. Fun fact about Jagr, meeting with him, and I guess probably the whole team, but Šimek had never met Jagr before. Šimek, who's also a Czech Republic. That was his first time ever meeting Jagr. So, I mean, imagine like meeting Wayne Gretzky like for the first time ever, right? Like, that's your hometown hero, like the person that you grow up wanting to emulate. And then for the celebration, like Hurdle, think about how many family and friends he had at that game. I'm sure he had, I mean, I would venture to say he probably knew well over couple hundred people, personally knew over a couple hundred people at that game, who had never been able to, probably most of them had never been able to see him play live in an NHL game. And yet here they were in their hometown, an arena that he grew up playing in, and he's playing from, and he scores a goal. He didn't get an assist. He scored the goal, and it was awesome. So, I'm sure that's going to go down one of his favorite moments of his entire NHL career, scoring a goal in this game. Sure, they lost, but individually, that must have been awesome. But going back to the game overall, once that third goal was scored, the Sharks just looked defeated, and that goal came in the second period. The third goal came in the second period, so they had a whole period to come out there and fight back. And I felt like the fight was never really there. They just seemed like it was I don't know, I'm going to say it was like the 80th game in the season, and they're not making playoffs, and they're just looking forward to golfing. That's what it felt like. Like they were just already out to lunch. So I think we have a clip for this one too, right?
Yeah.
Quinn, the coach, had kind of the same feeling, I guess, if you will. So here's Quinn after the game, talking about the exact same I just talked about after that third goal.
Yes, I thought as the game went on, I thought we got away from getting pucks in net and traffic, and for the most part, I thought up until they made it 3-1, it was we were hanging around, and I like some of the things we were doing, but once they made it 3-1, I really thought there was a huge disparity in the way they played compared to the way we played. I thought the last 25 minutes they really took it to us, and I thought we got a little bit demoralized, and we've got to toughen up a little bit mentally in that department. When you do get scored upon, you got to fight back, which I thought we did after we gave up the first one early. But the last 25 minutes, they really kind of set the tone and took it to us.
Hard to disagree there. That third period was pretty ugly and boring.
Unfortunately, yeah. And that for me is kind of the whole thing. Like, look, if we're going to be a bad team, fine, be a bad team. But we brought some players in to try to make this at least an entertaining product. That third period was definitely not very entertaining, as you said, mostly boring. I wanted to call out a couple comments here, though. Kellen Foster saying, I'm sure his fourth grade librarian showed up to support Hurdle. There you go. And then Taylor reminding Kellen, hey, don't forget his childhood dentist. So there you go.
Everybody.
Along with the neighborhood watch commander, self-appointed. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure he had lots of family and friends and people that he's known over the years growing up come to that game to support him. So a really good look there. But again, not a very good look was that third period. And it's unfortunate. But, as Coach Quinn said, we have to be a little bit more mentally tough than that. We can't, they're professionals. It's not like you're asking, AHL guys that are being called up because like last season, they have to, right? And you're asking them to do more than they can mentally. These are guys that have played in the league before, and they're just making a lateral move. So you're hoping that they'd be able to be a little bit more mentally tough than that. And after going down, it's always often said that that's the worst league in hockey is a 2-goal lead. So they were only down by 2. And like you said, they had more than a whole period to come back. And I don't know. It just didn't seem like they were interested. I don't know why, but I would say a better effort in the second game here if we're ready to move on.
Absolutely. I think parlaying what he had just said going into the second game.
Yeah.
I thought, the Sharks lost. Was it 3-2? I thought the fight was much better. I thought, and the only change that they had from the lineup was they started Kakinen instead of Reimer, and nothing on Reimer. I thought Reimer actually played a very good game in that first game too. But Reimer is out, and they put in Kakinen, and then they pulled out the defenseman Harrington, and they put in Magna in there.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Magna was a little bit more effective, but looking at his stats, he's a -2. So I don't know. That it's hard to say. And he only had 10 minutes of ice time versus Harrington's 16 minutes. So was it worth it? I don't know. But so far, the Sharks' reputation of having most likely the worst defensive core in the league is looking like it's holding true, and it's going to be a long season. What do you think?
Yeah. A lot of people beforehand was saying like they're not a huge fan of was it Matt Benning? Yeah. So and he said Tyler way back at the beginning of the show saying, Kellen saying, so we all like that Benning guy. Yeah. Tyler says, why 4 years for Benning? Yeah, it's 4 years for Benning, but it was also 4 years with a total of $5 million. So it's only 1.25 per year. That's an easily movable contract, I think, if they needed to down the road. So I'm not concerned with that one at all. The cap hit goes up next season just a little bit, and it doesn't matter anymore, right? So I'm not too concerned about that whatsoever. But it would be nice that if you are giving a guy a 4-year contract, that you're pretty sure you're going to lock him into your lineup. And I don't know. Just did not look good. And the other one here, and Kellen is saying the same thing. Harrington looked pretty lost, although he was skating with Carlson, who looked really pedestrian. Okay, that's fair enough. But for me, I wasn't very impressed with Harrington either. I think there was a couple plays where he had, at least one in particular, where he had passed a puck from behind the goal line, kind of going through the middle a little bit there. And that's like defenseman 101. You don't throw the puck in the beginning, right in the front of your net there. So, if it's a longer shot and you're not going directly across the crease, okay, fine. But this was one where there was a guy standing right there and he just basically passed it to him, so that kind of stuff. Hopefully that's just nerves and he kind of shakes that stuff off and he comes back and is better for it. But I was kind of expecting a little bit better out of him, and unfortunately, Benning and Harrington so far a little shaky for me. So, but I'm looking forward to Magna. I know what Magna brings. I've seen him last season. I think he can handle the load. I'd actually be very interested in seeing him get more starts, get some time on ice, and see what he can do for this season here. So, under a new coaching staff and a new regime and new strategies and everything else, I think he'll do just fine. That's my take on Magna, at least.
Yeah. One guy who I really liked in this game was Cunnin, who we had already kind of elaborated to. Now, we did the segment a couple years ago when Joe Pavelski was on the team, because we were doing a Joe Pavelski goal watch for what season was that? Whenever they went to the conference finals, I think it was that whole season. We were doing what was it? Seeing if he's going to get to 30 goals, I think it was. So this year we're going to do a Cunnin goal watch, because this man is the garbage man. That's awesome. We have not seen that yet, so we didn't know that was coming.
For the people on the podcast, Aaron, explain that.
So the graphic was Luke Cunnin dressed as a garbage collector, and it says Luke Cunnin garbage collector. So this guy, in game 1, he had the most ice time of all the forwards, which is crazy. He had more ice time than Hurdle, more ice time than Meyer. Part of it is he's on both the power play and the penalty kill. And in game 2 here against Nashville, he had a power play goal. And do you remember the goal? It was a garbage goal in front of the net.
I personally do not remember the goal, but go ahead and let him know.
Okay, so the puck, I think it was a rebound. He shot it, and it was Lankinen in goal in the second game. He made the first save, but Kunin quickly got his own rebound and kind of skated a little to the right and put it away. Just buried it, right? So I was like, man, he had such quick hands. Like it was such a bang quick play that I was like, wow, that was amazing. This is the kind of player that the Sharks just have not really had probably since Pavelski. Now, I'm not saying Cunnin is going to be Pavelski and be a 30-goal scorer, but from what I've seen so far in these couple games, I would say, and I'd be happy if this guy, if he stays on the top power play and is basically playing the garbage collector, we're going to see 15 and maybe close to 20 goals, just because he'll probably have 5 or 6, maybe a little bit more power play goals. And then who knows how many even strength he'll get for the year, and possibly even a shorthanded goal or 2 on the season as well, because he's playing on both. So I think this is a pretty good player here that we have on our hands. And again, not a Pavelski. I would say his ceiling is going to be about 20 goals, not that I'm expecting him to get 30 or 40. So, right. But we're going to keep this Cunning goal watch all year long and maybe do a little tally. So right now he's at 1. We're at 1 after 2 games. So he's on a 41 goal pace.
You know who he has more goals than?
LeBanc?
No, Gregor.
Oh. It's 2 games, man. It's 2 games.
I'm just saying. Drew pointing out that Cunnin has a career year would be getting past 31 points, apparently. That's what he's saying. So apparently that's the most he's ever had would be the 31 points. So do you think, now you're saying 15, 20 goals would be great for him, and you think it's doable? He has a power play time. Absolutely. You think he gets past the 31 points then?
If he stays on the top power play like that, he needs the ice time. If he's going to stay on the power play, absolutely. He's going to smash that 31 points. I would say he would be 40, maybe even flirt with 50 if he's really up. 50 is too much. 40 points, I would say.
I was going to say, now remember, because he might be losing his line to Barabanov when he gets back too.
But he might be staying on the top power play. The power play is crucial because he's going to be playing with some really good players that he's going to collect that garbage. If he's the garbage collector on the top power play line, which he actually got on the second power play line, we might see some good goal scores here.
Navy 47 is apparently tired. He's throwing some Z's up there with a yawny face. So I don't know if we're boring you, buddy. I'm sorry. Jeez. What's that all about?
I don't know.
He's on the second power play unit, Kellen says. Is that correct or incorrect?
No, he is.
He's
on the second power play unit. Yeah.
Okay. But the second power play unit was the one that capitalized, so good on them. You know, sometimes it's a little less talent and a little more just get the dang puck to the net. You know,
I was gonna say that top power play line, they pass it too much. They're looking for that backdoor tap in every time instead of just shooting the puck and getting dirty. Second line, they get dirty and they get goals. They get results. That's what I like seeing from the power play. Shots.
Everybody. Okay. He's trolling apparently. All right, cool. Anything else you want to say about either Cunnin or the second Nashville game here?
I thought they just looked much better. I thought for sure they were going to get that tying goal, at least in that game. It looked like they were pressing and they were looking much better. They just couldn't. I mean, yeah, Lankinen was playing pretty well, but I feel like the Sharks always make the backup goalies look like a Vezina winner. You know, like it happens all the time. Not just like the last couple of years. Like I feel like it always happens, right? Like, oh, we're playing the backup goalie. Oh my gosh, we can't score on this guy. What's wrong with us?
Who was the goalie? Was it DiPietro for Vancouver?
A long time ago?
Yeah, a long time ago. Lit him up for like 9 goals or something like that. I forget. We did not make him look like a Vezina winner. That is true.
Well, that guy they scored 9 goals on.
Yeah, they
But
scored a lot.
that's because he was at the time like an ECHL goalie that came up, like just
Yeah.
brutal.
Well, one guy that some of the fans think ought to play in the ECHL, Marc-Edouard Vlasic. Honestly, this season though, I think, and you said it before. Apparently, I don't remember you saying this, but I think this is going to be a resurgent season for him. I think he's going to look a lot better. He's got a head coach that kind of rewards the hard work, right? And him being a veteran, him trying to work hard out there. I think he's going to have a bit of a bounce back here. And miraculously, you had called out that you think he's going to be kind of more of the top 4 20-minute a game guy. And lo and behold, why don't you go ahead and take it away?
Sure. In the first game, he had exactly 20 minutes and 0 seconds. I said, because I think last year he was down to about 12, 13 minutes a night. He was kind of, I don't want to say he's in the doghouse, but he was on that third pairing, and so he got scratched last year. I'm not saying it wasn't warranted. He was not playing very well, but I feel like this year he's in a much better headspace. He's ready. He's got a new coaching staff. He's got a new GM. They probably sat down and talked to him, see where his game's at. I think he's not going to be what he used to be. He's too old for that, but I think he's a very serviceable defenseman. I think he could stay in that top 4 in the next year or two, depending on if the Sharks bring anyone else in. But I thought he looked pretty decent, and he didn't look like a liability. In fact, I said all that stuff, and just from, I guess, the eye test of watching him in the last couple of games, I was like, yeah, I was pleasantly surprised when I'm out there. And Corey Massasak earlier today had said that he was leading the team in like Corsi and everything else, and he was also up against the hardest forward line, the best forward line of Nashville. So the Vlasic of old at least showed up for those last 2 games where he was shutting down the top forward lines, doing a great job, and the team was actually better on the ice. When he was on the ice, the Sharks were playing better than when he wasn't on the ice. So there you go. There's some stats to back up what I was thinking.
So you thought that he played well, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You thought that he didn't look like garbage? Sorry, just testing out the graphic for producer Jason. Anyway, for those on the podcast, he just gave the Luke Kunin garbage thing again. Again, we're testing. There's a lot of stuff going on here behind the scenes, folks. Okay, just deal with it. Okay, so you say he looked like a top 4. Now, the question here, and we know what we should do. We should probably make this the roll call question.
Sure.
What do you say? All
yeah,
right,
let's do it.
So we'll do roll call right now, okay? Let us know where you're watching us from. And then let us know if you think that Vlasic is going to end up turning into trade bait via his play this season. Do you think he's going to show up, play much better than he has in seasons past under Bob Bugner, and make himself tradable to a different team? Maybe not the $7 million. Maybe it's, obviously retaining 3.5.
Something like what Burns did, where they retained the salary, and which, in my opinion, is better than buying him out because it'll be on your books less. And you get to move him, and the other team will be happy, and hopefully the return will be a little bit better. So, yeah, I don't mind that.
Do you even want him to be trade bait? Do you believe in Marc-Edouard Vlasic, Aaron? Do you believe in him?
I do, actually. I think he was one of the guys that I said was going to bounce back, and I would be okay with it because I've always liked Vlasic. I liked his game. Obviously, the last couple of years, he's not been the same as he was. A lot of people get hung up on his $7 million salary, which, yeah, that's a lot, but he earned that salary. He was not making that salary when he was at the top of the league in shutdown defenseman. Yeah. So to me, it was just payback for what he'd been doing. And I still believe that Doug Wilson kind of had these backdoor handshake deals of, hey, I'll take care of you later in your career if you keep your salary low, be a team-friendly salary, and I'll be sure that you get paid, because he was trying to keep that cup window open as long as he could, knowing that these guys are going to have to get paid and they're going to be screwed later on. Now, if the Sharks won a cup in 2016 and possibly even won again when they had Carlson, would anybody even care about these salaries right now? Probably not. It'd be like Chicago, what they're going through right now. It'd be like the Kings, what they've been going through the last couple of years. No, they'd be happy. But because the Sharks didn't win, people are pissed and they want heads to roll. And so that's where we got kind of a split of Sharks fans here. But $7 million for another 3 seasons after this. If they could trade him, maybe keep half of it, $3.5 million. I think he's a very good $3.5 million top 4. Sure. Or even bottom pairing defenseman. That's a pretty decent, maybe a little bit pricey, but he's got experience, and maybe pair him up with a young guy who's going to be kind of up and coming, but not quite ready for prime time thing. I think it's doable.
Yeah, I think so too. Frankly, I don't think he does get traded though. I think he just is serviceable, plays well, and I mean, unless a team really comes calling for him, he'll probably end up just staying in San Jose. Kind of what I think. But LM says he was told buy out or play better and get traded to a better team. Okay,
I don't disagree with that. Like
yeah.
Right now, I mean, maybe that's the kind of talk that Greer had with these guys, the older guys, the veterans, saying, hey, we're not going to be winning a cup in the next couple seasons. We're probably just going to be rebuilding here. If you want out, you need to play the top that you can play so that I can get you to a better team. Because if you can show other teams that you can play, they're going to want you. If you don't, they're not. Look at all the players in Arizona, right? Like, look at Phil Kessel, who barely signed at the very end there with Vegas. Like, just, you got to keep playing even if you're on a terrible team, because you never know where you'll end up.
Taylor Kearney saying he doesn't think so, that the contract would be too hard to sell and that we would need to retain salary. Yeah, he's in the same mind space as Aaron and I here in terms of needing to retain. Drew bringing up Nutavara says he'll return eventually, so maybe Vlasic will get bumped. What do you think?
Bumped to the third pairing?
Maybe.
I don't know. I feel like Nutavara might be. Well, he might be slotted with Carlson, right? Nutavara. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'd have to see how that shakes out once he's back. So,
I mean, right now it's Mario's with him, but who knows if that's going to last or not.
Marco Vlasic will not be trade bait, but will be a serviceable defensive defenseman to pair with another sturdy D-man. That's what Matt Lowe thinks out of Castro Valley. Thank you, Matt. And then Kellen Foster says, so Vlasic to the Blue Jackets in a trade for Pierre-Luc Dubois.
Wait, Pierre-Luc Dubois is in Winnipeg, I thought
he got traded too. Yeah,
he got traded like last season or 2 seasons ago. So he's not even there.
Maybe there's a 3-way trade he's trying to work out there. Who knows?
Right. And don't forget, teams could do a 3-way trade retaining salary, so his salary could get reduced even more.
Yeah. So if you doing the math, it would go down to 3.5 and then 1.75. I think any team could certainly not necessarily but could certainly use a Marco Vlasic for 1.75, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we just talked about Benning at 1.25. For $500,000 more, you get a guy that's been there, done that in this league. So I think that brings a little bit to the locker room as well as to the ice. So I mean, I think a lot of teams would be okay with that. Where's Justin Braun when you need him? Hey, Taylor, you are not what's his name? Gosh. What's Justin Braun, the guy? Oh my goodness. Why can't I remember his name? I haven't seen him in so long.
Lundy.
Thank you, Lundy. Jeez. Yeah, where's Lundy, buddy? Thank you, Taylor, for stepping in for Lundy there and bringing up Justin Braun. Appreciate that. Yeah, Kellen says, where's Lundy? There you go. Okay, yeah, anything else here about I think we've got a lot of the feedback there from the folks. Thank you guys for chiming in. Appreciate your comments there on Pickles. Yeah, anything else, Aaron? You think about this topic here, or we good?
I mean, it's 2 games in and they were playing in Europe. So and I'm not throwing anything against Nashville. Nashville's a very good team who was I don't know if they were a cup contending team, but they were definitely a playoff team who went deep, and they had a very, very good year last year. So this was a very strong team. I'm not shocked that the Sharks went 0-2. I thought for sure they were going to win that second game, and I would have been happy with the split. But at the same time, I'm kind of happy that they're leading the league to get Connor bettered. So I don't mind. To me, I don't think this is a playoff team, and I don't think they're trying to be. So as long as the game, that second game, I just thought was better. It was entertaining. They were trying. And I'm okay with when you try hard and you just still can't quite get there,
Yeah.
like that's okay. You did your absolute best and what you could do. Oh, there you go. Go ahead.
Thank you, Taylor. Taylor's manifesting Lundy energy with $5 in the super chat. Thank you, Taylor. We really appreciate you, buddy. Thanks so much. Yeah, I don't know. We haven't seen Lundy in a while. I hope he's okay. But happy to have you guys here with us. So again, thank you so much for supporting the show.
He is in Minnesota, so that's a big time difference.
What was that?
He is in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a big time difference. It's hard to.
Yeah, totally.
Just we're late.
Okay, so let's go with Barracuda here. Sharks should get Connor better. Oh wow, you think he's better? Okay,
Connor better.
David, he's saying, yeah.
That's funny.
No,
Connor better. I don't know about that.
Okay, so we'll see. Just supporting the show. Don't blame him. Oh, thank you, Taylor. Okay. Okay, so Barracuda update here. And now some of you might be not interested in Barracuda, but honestly, you should be. I think this season is going to be a really good one for the Barracuda. And for the reason I'm about to say, yes, the Sharks did have to trim the roster down after coming back, or before they can get back here and start playing NHL games here in the States. They had to bring their roster down from 27 to 23. They were able to bring 27 because they were out in the Czech Republic, and that was kind of an exception that was given to those two teams to have extra players on their roster. So now that they had to be back down to 23, VL and Dell both went down through the waiver wires, and the other two players that went down to fans' dismay, I would say, the fans weren't too happy about it, but Bordeleau and Ekluind. I know the fans really want to see these guys, and they really want them to get some time at the NHL level, but I think it's a great move. Let these guys dominate in the AHL. Let them get their bearings underneath them. Let them be the man at that level, right? And then kind of earn their way back into the lineup. I think it also gives the guys that are more veteran on the team, the guys that have maybe coming towards the end of their careers, the guys that are near the end of their contracts, give them an opportunity to showcase as best they can, so that, as we just talked about Marc-Andre Vlasic, maybe a team comes calling and gets the Sharks on another draft pick, something that can maybe bolster that roster up in years to come. So keeping those two guys baking in the AHL, not such a bad idea for the business side. I like it mainly because Aaron and I are 2/3 of a season ticket holder group for the San Jose Barracuda. So I'm so happy hearing this, Aaron, honestly. Like, we're going to get to watch Bordeleau and Ekluind tear it up in the AHL in the brand new Tech CU arena. We've talked about it before. If you haven't seen it, check out our Spotlight episode on Tech CU. Really, really cool stuff. They had the whole construction, and we got to see it.
We should do an updated Spotlight on that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we should definitely do that. I'm sure we can get somebody we can contact over there and give us an opportunity to walk around and show everybody all the amenities and whatnot. And it's really, really nice place.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this in the last show, but I think Bordeleau and Ekluind need to be the men, the guys, the go-to guys, getting 18, 20 minutes a night, leading the power play, possibly leading shorthanded if they really wanted to work on that part of their game. When they play on the Sharks, they're going to be third, fourth line guys or scratched. It's just not worth it for their development. So the Sharks aren't going to be competitive. Now, if the Sharks, let's say the Sharks were I would say even better than a bubble team. Like, they were a team that was expected to make the playoffs with the roster they had. Then I would see these guys should probably be on the Sharks, because you need higher skilled guys on lower contracts because they're entry level to be successful. And so that's where I would see the Sharks wanting them to be on the team. But because they're not, and they're not expecting to be a playoff team, I think it's better for them to develop in the AHL level. And again, get all those top minutes. Plus we have season tickets, so I want them to be there and play and be really good. But I think they are going to be a better team, probably one of the better Barracuda teams maybe in their history. I mean, not going way back to Worcester Sharks, but the Barracuda level, or the Barracuda team. I think this will be one of the better ones, and I'm excited to watch them play. And the other thing is, like, they would be getting chemistry with each other and then possibly, next year coming up and being full-time Sharks, and there are built-in chemistry. Imagine having that, Hurdle and Timo Meier line, or at least those duo, playing together, and they play well, and doing that at the AHL level, and then bringing that right into the NHL level. I don't think that's a bad thing. So, and Drew said could year, but I think he meant good year to be a CUDA member this season. Yeah, and I think they made us sign a 3-year deal, right? So they know people only want this season because all those guys are going to graduate to the Sharks soon. We're like, sure, we'll stick around.
Yeah. Hey, man, I don't mind. Like I said, the whole facility is so nice anyway. So really looking forward to it, and especially this season. For me, being able to watch these guys play night in, night out. Whereas, I can't really do that with the Sharks. I can't go to every single game, but like with the CUDA, I think it'll be a little bit different here. So they mostly have the games on the weekends and whatnot. So it'll be a lot easier for me, my family, you guys, everybody to go. So it's going to be a really good season. I can't wait to see how they do here. So,
well, you were just at the game. It was the preseason game, right? On Saturday?
Yes. And actually, what's his name? Etu Makiniemi, I think is his name. He was the goaltender for that last preseason game that I went to there, and they played against the Condors over at Tech CU. And yeah, they ended up winning that game. It was in overtime, and I think it was Kinyatsev got the game winner in overtime. Really a fun game. Now, there's one thing I do want to take out of that game, if I'm going to bring anything up about the Barracuda for this one game here. It's watching Ryan Merkley, and I know you're like, oh, he's still young, and blah, blah, blah. I feel like he's not taking it seriously. I honestly feel like he's not taking it seriously. The guy is so incredibly skilled, amazingly skilled, but like he's trying to play with the puck. He instead of making the simple play, he's doing the over the top, more flash, definitely more difficult moves, and it just doesn't like to maintain the puck and to get around people. It just seems like he's trying to showcase himself more than actually just play the game. And I feel like if he just played the game and used his skills to do the basic simple plays, they would have looked a lot better. They probably would have won that game by a lot more. They would have to go OT. And I think he'd be getting more of a serious look to move forward in his career. Now, again, I know you say he's young, but he was drafted very young, and this is like his 5th year now because he was like 17, I think, right? So he's 22 now. So that's
turning.
I understand he's young, but he's been for 5 years, right? We've gone through this. So I don't know. I'm ready for this guy to kind of have a change of mindset. And yes, you're incredibly skilled. You're an amazing skater. His vision's off the charts. His hands are off the charts. Everything's great. Then why aren't you impressing? I think is the problem, right? If there's so many things that are going right for you, why aren't you impressing? And I think it's because he's trying to do too much to stand out. Just watching him the way that he plays, and it's flashy and it's amazing. It's fun to watch. But it's frustrating when he dangles through 2-3 guys and he tries to go through that, and then he loses the puck. So there's just times where I wish he would just simplify the game. And I don't know if you see it the same way, but that's what I'm hoping out of Ryan Merkley.
I don't mind so much at the AHL level. That could also be the coaches telling him to work on those kind of dangles and get them like. The AHL, yeah, it's great. You want to win the Calder Cup. You want to do all this stuff, but it's also development for the NHL. So that could be them saying, hey, this is a safe space to work on that stuff. Be flashy, because that's kind of why we drafted you. We want you to do that stuff. We want you to, it's not always going to work, but if you keep working on it and practicing on it and it becomes part of your game, you want to like, it's his strength, right? I mean, obviously it doesn't work all the time, but that's his strength. That's what he's known for. They could be pushing him to say, work on it, and get better at it so that you're quicker at it and it's going to work when you get to the NHL level. That's just a take. I don't know if that's true. I don't have any inside information, but again, for AHL level, I don't mind it as much versus
it's
NHL.
The wrong take, and I'll tell you why. LM says, I think you hit it on the head when I was talking. So LM says you're wrong. I'm sorry.
You look for any kind of backup.
Hey, man, Taylor Kearney says, I'm a big fan of Merkley's game, but it's time for him to step forward or sit down. Woo!
I don't know,
buddy.
To me,
that doesn't sound to me like, hey, the coaches want you to be flashy because this is a safe space.
Defenseman takes so long to develop, and he's still only 22. I really don't mind. I will be ready to be done with this guy when he's 26, 25, 26, and not in the NHL as a regular. And that's another, was that 3-4 years from now? I don't mind as much. He was very raw. He was very young and very raw. I mean, imagine he went to college and played for 3 years and got drafted at 21. That would be last year.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Where he would have developed more and whatever. Like, he's been in our system. Because he's been in our system for so long, people want results.
But his skill level had him drafted at 17. And he's been in the system for 5 years. Now, imagine if you were drafted at 21, but you were 26 years old. Would he be having this conversation, or would he be out the door?
That's a whole different thing about the draft. About people are looking at these raw hockey players at 18 years old and drafting them, expecting them to be superstars when they don't always pan out. I don't think Merkley's going to be a top line defenseman ever. I think he's going to be a good top 4 defenseman that has skill to get the puck out of his own zone. That's what, and manning the power play, probably the second power play, having a right-handed shot, very highly skilled defenseman on the power play, or even on the second power play. I don't know. I'm still not worried about him. I'm still not worried.
I guess what I'm at is I'm in that camp where I feel like he's not going to end up working out, which is just too bad. I think he's going to be a great AHL flashy defenseman there. Getting the puck to the guys that can actually bury it, but. I'm afraid the guy's just never going to get the opportunity to step it up to the show. And Kellen with some graphics ideas here. Garbage Man Cunnin, and the next is Graphic Jazz Hands Merkley. That's great. Oh my God. Does the age gap also make him an outsider? You're gonna have to explain that one. Aaron, do you know what he's talking about?
The age gap, as in when he
that he's
drafted?
Young. Does it maybe he doesn't gel well in the room or something because he was a younger guy?
No, I don't think that's it. Because there's always young guys that come and go out of there.
Yeah, Taylor says he's 28 and he's still developing his defense. Do I get a few more years too? No, you're done, Taylor. You're done. Okay,
you're past your prime.
You're past your prime, buddy.
Defensemen take a little bit longer than forwards do. Like a forward at 22, 23, and he can't, and a first round pick, and he can't quite crack the lineup, then I'd be a little worried. Defenseman, now. There you go. Kellen Foster, a third pairing power play guy like Adam Boqvist in Columbus. That I would be happy with that. I would be happy if he turns into an NHL regular. He's not going to be a top pairing defenseman, but he'll get power play time, and he'll be. Imagine a third pairing guy who doesn't get paid that much money, say $1 million, $2 million, but he can move the puck out of the zone. Most teams would kill for that, especially a right-handed shot, which are less common than left-handed shots.
Kellen, I will 100% agree with you if you're talking about the AHL.
All right.
That's Aaron's frustrated. Okay, let's move on. You said
get on with it.
What?
Get on with it.
Get on with it. Yes.
Get on with it.
Yes, get on with it.
Yes, get on with it.
I was trying to.
Get on with it.
There it is.
It never gets old. New advertising boards. We were talking about this the other day about jerseys with different advertisements on them, and then you're talking about but the boards have advertisements, and I'm saying but I don't buy the boards and take them home with me, and that was the whole thing about jerseys and whatnot. But new advertising boards, they've got them now where it's all digital, right? There's no actual they actually do still have it on the boards, but they've got that space where they can do digital advertisements on top of it.
Well, it's the whole boards. The boards are normal. Like they still have advertisements on it. When you're in the arena, it looks exact same. Nothing's different. So it's not like it's a full green screen going around, you know what I mean? Like in baseball, behind the home plate, there's an actual green screen. So when you're at the game, you just see a green screen. There's no ads or anything. But at in the arenas, nothing changes. It looks the same, but they'll digitally change what's on the boards when you're watching the televised view. When you watch instant replays or any other different angles, it'll still be what's physically there on the boards in person. But this gives opportunities, and they were talking about it, where like, let's say this game was nationally and internationally broadcast. You can now advertise, or you can target advertisers in local markets that are watching the game. So there's local ads on that will be more relevant to the people where they live. One great example is betting sites will now be able to advertise in their local markets, because a lot of betting places are illegal in certain states or certain countries. So they wouldn't be shown there, but they could be shown in the places where they are legal. So this just opens up a whole new advertising revenue coming into the league, which again brings up the dollar value of the league as a whole and brings up the amount of cap space that will be coming in. So it's good things. I don't think it messed with it wasn't distracting. I mean, I'm a soccer fan, so I'm used to the electronic boards that go around the soccer fields that have animated stuff, so it's kind of moving and changing all the time. This, I mean, it's obviously, it doesn't bother the players because they don't notice it. Nothing's moving or changing. I think that would be distracting, where I think in soccer it's a little more distracting. But in hockey, what they were also talking about is you can sell an ad to, let's say, a car company, and instead of Honda, it just says Honda on the board. There's on the screen, there's a car driving, and it's in the first period, it's advertising one car. The second period, it's advertising a different Honda car. So they could do multiple things with it and kind of more value added to the advertisers. So I think it's a win-win. I don't think it was distracting. I don't think it looked terrible. Like, you can kind of see glitches. Like, it's almost like watching a Marvel movie and you're like, okay, that CGI wasn't bad. And sometimes you're like, ew, that just looked awful. I feel like I didn't get as much as that. So I didn't mind it, and I think it's great because it's bringing in more dollars into the league, and that's a win-win. Did you even notice?
I did notice. Yeah. No, I noticed that because you know what it was is that they had the same advertisement all the way across, all the way around, and I'm going, okay, wait a minute.
Noticeable. Yeah.
I know they didn't just have like, oh, we're going to take over all the boards, right? That no one's going to do that, and especially since it started moving. I'm okay with that. I have no problem with that, and I mean, I didn't have a problem with the advertisements on the boards themselves anyway. It's kind of interesting though, because if you've got your advertisement on the boards, you've paid for that, and then they put a digital advertisement on top of that. I imagine now you're paying less to have your stuff on the boards, because the only people that are going to see that are the people that are sitting in the seats, right?
Right.
So you're losing money there to gain money, right?
Wait, what?
The advertisements that are on the boards physically are covered by the digital advertisement when you're watching on TV. So,
but on instant replays, they're still there. And it's for the people that are in the arena, which are thousands of people.
Yeah.
But most of the people that are buying ads are already on the boards. So they're going to pay for more ad space.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah. But
so like
that's what I'm saying.
Honda's on there. So they already have a Honda board, but now they can have a commercial playing for 10, 15 seconds. And then just rotates out.
Right. At like Western Digital's expense though. Because now you're being covered up to watch another Honda.
15 seconds. It's not. Sure. It's not constantly on, but
you only get so many shots as the camera goes by, right? So I don't know. I don't really care, to be honest with you.
I also heard they were going to put I think we've seen these before. The netting that's behind the goal. I've seen advertisements on that.
Yeah.
Like the last couple seasons, not just this year. So that's a new kind of space that they're exploring. And some other ones too, I read. I can't remember what they were. Anyway.
Yeah. I don't care enough about that. I honestly, for me, like the jerseys is a bigger deal for me. I know you don't care, but like, for me, it's a bigger deal than the boards. I could care less about the boards. I think it's hilarious when you look at the, was it in Berlin, I think, where they had on the face-off dots.
Yeah.
On each of the face-off dots. And it's like they're like distorted on the ice so that when you see it on the camera, it looks correct, right?
Have you seen that in soccer?
I remember you mentioning that. I don't remember seeing it though.
In soccer, you can't advertise on the field, so it's right on the out of bounds behind the goal. So behind the goal, when the camera is panned, like looking this way, it's like 45-degree angle. Let's say they paint it at a 45-degree angle, so when you're watching it, it trips your eyes out because it looks like it's standing up and straight. It's like a 3D effect. It's really wild, but then it's flat. Like it's not.
Yeah.
It's obviously it's not 3D. It's not digital either. It's actually painted on the grass. So it's kind of the same thing when you turn in the face-off dots. It's straight onto the camera. It's not. Which, I wouldn't be surprised if that's coming. Having face-off dots having sponsors in them.
I wouldn't be surprised. Hopefully it's all digital because it looks goofy when you go to the game. You got everything is all over the ice. Kellen saying the netting behind the goal is known as a Gregor ad. Yes. Thank you, Kellen. Well played, sir. Redeem Zacios. I'm going to butcher that name. Sorry. Hey, guys. Go Sharks. Hey, how's it going, buddy? Thanks for joining the show. Appreciate that. Aaron, you have here, this is something that you want to do going forward. So, guys, pay attention because you could be featured here as well.
Sure.
We have a tweet of the week. Aaron, you want to go ahead and take this one away?
Sure. I thought this was a funny response to one of our tweets that we had here. So I tweeted out that the Sharks are currently closest in the NHL to getting bettered, so at least there's that. And the response was number 32 in the standings, but number 1 on the PK. Everything's going according to plan. And this is from Twisted Wrister Hockey at Nick Pinkerton. So I thought that was hilarious because the Sharks, just like the last couple years, they've been terrible and somehow, almost, not always, but are up there in the top 3 in penalty kill. How is that possible when you have, not terrible goaltending last year or this year, but the last couple years with Martin Jones, they've had awful goaltending, and yet they still somehow lead the league in penalty killing. How's that possible? So I thought that was funny.
Something's got to go, right?
So if you would like to be featured on our show with the tweet of the week, tweet at us. Or, maybe I'll look at Instagram too. Maybe some Instagram comments.
Yeah, sure.
Whatever your social media of choice is. Facebook less so. But speaking of all of those, we just surpassed 2,000 followers on Twitter, which is awesome. So thank you. Thank you for following us. And if you're not, you should. Paul actually does most of the tweeting, not all of it, but most of it from our Twitter account. As of this morning, we were at 740 Instagram follows, 713 Facebook follows. We also have a subreddit, and we're on LinkedIn. So if you really, really like the Fin Factor, you can find us on all of those. And fun fact, I actually created a MySpace just to piss off super producer Jason. So we're somewhere in the MySpace world of the Fin Factor. I thought it was funny.
Nice.
I thought it was funny. Yeah, it just made me smaller.
Well done, super producer Jason. For those on the podcast, he just made my my image much larger than Aaron's, so I'm prominent on the screen, if you will. Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know if there's anything else that you wanted to kind of poke and prod at here. I know we've got the subreddit, and I think we're on LinkedIn, something that you wanted to plug to, but yeah, just, reach out to us. I know Aaron had said it's usually me on Twitter. Unless it's something that Aaron had wrote under his account and then it's a retweet, then it's definitely Aaron on Twitter, because I will never retweet anything that Aaron says. So then it's him. Okay.
Well, Paul does so much tweeting. I didn't want to jump in there too, because we don't really write if it's Paul or Aaron writing it. So I'm all right, that's just Paul's.
Yeah,
Paul can
for
just
sure.
keep that account.
Super producer Jason wants everybody to make sure that they know. Please follow us on social media: Twitter, Facebook at the Fin Factor, and Instagram is at Fin Factor, because somebody took the Fin Factor from us. So good on you. Yeah, boo. All the small screens, Blink 182. All right, there you go. Yes, MySpace still does exist, and that's what Aaron was just talking about. So, Aaron, anything else that you want to talk about here? I know. I guess the last little thing here. Feel free to go to thefinfactor.com, support the show that way. You can buy that nice water bottle that Aaron's been drinking out of this entire time. You can get one of those. You can get fanny packs, hats, shirts, all kinds of cool stuff. Please, if you're interested in supporting the show, but you also want to get something back in return, feel free to do that. Oh man, I like when I was bigger. Feel free to support us that way as well. And then, of course, Thank you so much for the super chat that we got. Taylor, thank you so much for supporting the show tonight with super chat. And then you can also tip us on Venmo. Thank you, Super Station, at the Fin Factor. That is our Venmo. So if you leave a comment there, we will absolutely say it during one of the shows here. And again, thank you so much for all the support that we get from you guys.
Yeah, thank you. Quick shout out to my friend Katie. Her birthday's coming up this week, so happy birthday. Yay. She's on the show right now.
Oh, and quick shout out to the Cupertino Cougars 10UA for beating the Oakland something Bears today. So if you haven't figured it out yet, my son plays for the Cupertino Cougars. So
one thing we didn't actually talk about is the upcoming games. I forgot to throw that on there.
Oh my goodness, we have upcoming games to talk about now.
Isn't that weird? We're not used to it. There's only 2 because they're traveling back from Europe. So the first game is actually going to be the home opener this Friday, which we are going.
Yes, we are going. Now, I know Nick HBK 150, who's a big fan of the show and somebody that I gamed with for the last couple years, actually. He was hounding me about this. Are you going to the show? Are you going to the show? So yes, Nick, if you're listening, I'll be there. I'm saying not the show, the games. This is the show. I'm going to be at the show. Wow. If you're going to the game, yes, we will be there, and we'll certainly have to hook up with you and get a drink or something. So there you go.
We'll be there. We'll be. I think I got tickets through my work. So, and that's going to be against the Carolina Hurricanes. The return of Brent Burns. Definitely going to be a tearjerker, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if you think he's gonna. You think he'll shed some tears?
Oh, absolutely, man. He spent a decade here, maybe. I'm trying to remember what year he got traded here. I think it was at least before 2012. So yeah, I think there's gonna be a nice tribute before. There's probably gonna be what?
I'm gonna say he doesn't shed tears. That he gives the thumbs up, the high fives, and all that stuff. But he's not gonna shed a tear. We will watch closely, and you guys will let us know. And the loser is gonna buy drinks. How about that?
I was actually talking about like a tearjerker, like in general. But yeah, sure, I'll take the bet.
Do you? But no, okay. Do you? So you think he's shedding a tear?
Well, that's not what I was saying originally. I was just saying it's gonna be a tearjerker because we're all gonna be watching this video and we're all gonna be like sad. Right. But if you want to do a bet, sure, I'll take it.
All right, good. I like free drinks. So
anyway, they're playing. Way to go scheduling NHL. Fly back to Europe and you're playing back to back. So they're playing the Hurricanes on Friday, and then Saturday they follow up and play the Blackhawks. At least they're both at home, so they'll be playing both. But I don't think they're going to beat the Hurricanes. Hurricanes are not just a playoff contending team. They are a cup contending team. They might win the division. They may win the cup. Yeah. So they're going to look very, very good. The Blackhawks, though, that will be interesting because they are horrendous and they also want to get better. So interesting that they're playing very early this season. Now, another interesting thing, the Sharks opened the season in Czech Republic against the Predators. It was weird that the rest of the NHL was still playing preseason games, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I understand it, but you would think that, yeah, like you said, the scheduling, that it would be done a little bit differently.
I just think it's kind of distracting because I feel like it should have been a big to-do that the season's opening and all eyes should be on Sharks Predators game because it's the opening of the season and nobody else is playing. They shouldn't have had like any other games. Whereas all the fans are probably, going to watch their own home team games that were there. So I don't think it was as big of a deal. I don't know. I thought that was kind of annoying. It should have been just that game going on, not still having preseason.
Is what it is. I want to open up because we do have a lot of viewers right now. I want to open it up to the viewers. If you guys have any questions, we're like an hour and 10 in, but since there's so many people here, if there's any questions that you want us to kind of address, please feel free to throw them in the chat, and we'll try to get to them in a timely fashion so Super Jason can go to sleep. But if there's anything in there that you'd like us to kind of address or something like that, go ahead and throw it in there, and maybe we'll get a chance to get to it. I do want to point out here, Taylor Kearney. Taylor is kind of one-upping me here. I was talking about the 10U kids, and he's talking about his littler brother for the Colorado Springs Tigers AAA U18 team. says he's going to be draft eligible next draft.
Wow.
Holy.
That's pretty cool.
That's really cool, man. So, but it's too late for you though, right? Yeah, because you're the one that was saying you were 26, 28. Sorry, buddy, you're done. Your little brother though, that's really cool. You guys do awesome. Don't change a thing. Okay, well there you go. We won't change anything, Aaron. Maybe I'll get myself back in focus, but then that'll be the end of it.
Probably not.
I'm a blurry mess right now, buddy. I don't know. You're supposed to do the whole like flower around the hands thing or something, aren't you? Is that supposed to make it better?
Yeah.
Oh wow, it does. It works. Look at that. But then take it away, it goes blurry again. I don't know. Anyway, so any last thing here, Aaron? We'll check the chat one last time before we maybe head out.
No, I'm looking forward to going to a hockey game in person, an NHL game. So, and a season opener. Those are always fun.
Yeah, it always sucks when they don't make playoffs and there's nothing to do. Unfortunately, it's we take this hiatus from the show. There's nothing to chat about. There's nothing to watch. There's nothing to do. It just kind of sucks, So, looks like we got a question here. Graham Slam question for Paul. Oh no, why do you hate Noah Gregor? Oh no, Graham, no. I don't hate Noah Gregor. I like the guy. I just know what he is, and he ain't a 10-goal scorer. At least not last season. Proven. This season, I'm looking forward to seeing him maybe have a bit of a bounce back, maybe looking a lot better. But I don't know. And even in the preseason, that the games that we saw so far, and the regular season game that we saw, he's not really that impressive to me. So I don't know. I think for me, I just have a realistic view of what he is, and when. Aaron was telling me he's going to be a 10-goal scorer like that last season. I just didn't believe it. That's all. So it's not that I hate the guy. I don't hate him, but I've certainly had poked fun at him quite a bit here and there. So it's all in good fun. He doesn't believe me. He goes, mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't believe you either.
Come on. I don't hate the guy. Let's see. How many A's go into these leagues? Oh, no. AAA is the top. Yeah, AAA is the top.
It's like baseball, right?
I guess, because I don't know baseball very well. But yeah, if there's more A's, it means you're better than yes.
It goes AAA, AA, single A. AAA is the highest.
Yeah.
Single A is the bottom.
Yeah. Right. But then there's also like double B and D, and when you get into
it just keeps going.
The younger age groups, at least. Yeah. So for instance, my son plays in 10U A at 10U. That's the highest they could play at. So that's where they're at. Now, unfortunately, in Northern California, an A team is not quite as good as the A teams in Southern California or in other parts of the country, but he's doing okay for himself. So you can imagine 18U AAA is real deal. So yeah, we'll have to look that one up. Again, I'm guessing the last name is still Kearney. So maybe we'll have to keep an eye out for that guy, huh? Y'all got hoodies in your show store? Yes, we do.
We do, right?
Yeah. Super producer Jason, you want to confirm that one? I think he's gonna put there you go. Man, he is on point, dude. I'm telling you.
I actually have the gray one. It's pretty nice.
Oh, there you go.
I like it.
How come I don't have one? What the hell?
Because you didn't buy one?
This is ridiculous. I have to buy one. All right. Well, I don't get a discount, I don't think, guys. So whatever you're paying is the same thing I'm paying. Yeah, there you go. So yes, we do have the sweatshirts, the hoodies in there. So thank you for checking that out. AAA usually junior A, which is the highest level below major junior. Yeah, CHL, USHL. Yeah. Graham Slam's on point there. But yeah, he'll be draft eligible. So if whoever it is, Lincoln Kearney, is that his name? Taylor and Lincoln brothers.
I'll give a shout out to Graham here. Graham runs another YouTube page or YouTube channel that covers prospects. So he is the prospect expert and knows all this stuff. So if you want to give him a follow, go for it.
Is this the guy you were talking about earlier?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Graham, we're going to have to try to contact you, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll probably have Graham on our show at some point this season.
Yeah. Well, thanks for letting the cat out of the bag, Aaron. Jeez.
Oh, well, there it is.
Anyway. I wear my Fin Factor shirt in the gym, and everyone thinks I sell surfboard fins. Excellent.
When we went to the NHL All-Star game and we were interviewing people thought we were Finnish show, like from Finland. Like there's a couple Finnish guys that were there, and they're like, "Oh, are you Finnish?" And they said it in Finnish. We're like, "Huh? What?" Yeah, that, and I get Miami Dolphins. People think we're Miami Dolphins because it's almost the similar colors.
Yeah.
Which is funny because Mike Greer's brother is the GM of the Miami Dolphins. Chris Greer. Yeah. Very
There's
similar.
one of those the more you know moments, and we lost it. What happened?
That's a lot of teal in that family.
Graham says expert in exclamation or in quotation marks. Yeah. Well, probably more expert than us when it comes to prospects, buddy. So we'd love to have you. Love to have you on the show at some point. We'll talk a little bit about some prospects. That'd be good.
Perfect.
Okay. I think we've gone well off the rails. So I think we're going to go ahead and call it here. Hey, guys, thank you again so much for tuning in. We appreciate you guys. All the super chat and support. Again, thank you all for that. And if you're going to go visit the finfactor.com and check out any of the merchandise that we have for sale, we absolutely do appreciate you supporting the show that way. And it's great because you get something in return. You can kind of flaunt it to everyone else who doesn't have it, who isn't as cool as you. So there you go. Yeah. Super producer Jason reminding you, like, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications so that you know when we're going live and you can be a part of this show. And also, the main thing that I always ask for is please share us, retweet us, re-insta photogram us, whatever that thing is. I don't know, dude. I'm out of touch. I don't know. Okay. Do all the things, help us get out there to your Sharks friends and family so that if you're enjoying listening to us and talking with us, I'm sure they will do it as well. So with that, Aaron, do you have anything else you want to throw in here? No,
I don't think so. I'm good.
Hey,
I'm
looking forward to the next week of games here for the Sharks and for the Barracuda. I can't wait to see all the prospects doing their thing at the AHL level. And then hopefully, like I said, we'll have some entertaining hockey, at least, if not some winning hockey out of the San Jose Sharks. Yes?
Maybe we do a meetup on Friday if anyone's going to the game.
There you go.
Hit us up in the comments and let us know if you're going to be there and what section you're in. How about that?
There you go. Perfect. Okay, that's going to do it. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you so much. For super producer Jason, I'm Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
And we will see you guys
next week.
And hopefully I'm in focus. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, check out our other content, especially interviews. You can interact with us directly through social media at The Fin Factor and on Instagram at Fin Factor. And don't forget to join our live streams on YouTube.
Visit our website at thefinfactor.com, where you'll find all of our episodes as videos or podcasts. You'll also find our exclusive merchandise to help support our show.